So we're having a look at the speedo on this 94 G320 Mercedes. Customer has purchased the new speedo cable. Said he already changed the speed sensor on it and that didn't fix it. I'm looking at what appears to be the speed sensor here on the back of the transfer case. But this is not a speedo cable, this is just an electrical plug. And I don't know why it would have 3 wires in it unless it's got one for the speedo, as I don't have a schematic for this thing. I've looked all up and down both sides of the transmission and transfer case and I do not see a mechanical speedometer cable, so I'm going to have a look underneath the dash and see if there is in fact a speedometer cable. I got a funny feeling that this cable is not what we need. So I tried looking underneath the dash on this thing, but you can't see anything because of the steering column and reinforcement. I ran it on the hoist and confirmed that both odometers, the trip odometer and the odometer and the needle don't register any accumulated kilometers or mileage. And then I looked in the back here, pulled the instrument cluster out, and lo and behold, there is no speedo cable. So it is definitely not a mechanical speedometer. And I'm going to have to get a wiring diagram. It's too bad this didn't have a tilt column. You'd be able to tilt the steering wheel down. I have to drop the column to get the instrument cluster. It just pushes into the bezel here. So I'm going to see if I can acquire a schematic before we delve into this thing. Okay, so to remove the steering wheel on this thing, there are 2 T27 Torx bits that you have to get at from the bottom. You know, long handled like an Allen wrench with a T27. And then you need a 10 mil hex to remove this nut that holds the steering wheel down. For some reason I couldn't move it with a 1/2 inch power bar, so I took a small butane torch and I heated up the nut a little bit and it released the Loctite. But man, was it tight. So now we're going to remove the steering wheel. Well, here's something you won't see on a North American vehicle. The airbag is supplied powered through spring-loaded slip rings from the clock spring. This is what it's got on the back of the steering wheel. Wow. Like, that'll never squeak or be a compromised connection. Normally it's hardwired. But anyways, I marked it with a paint dot so that I could line it up again correctly, because there doesn't appear to be a master spline on here. Anyways, all this just to get the steering wheel off so I can pull the instrument cluster out. So once the steering wheel's out of the way, you pull the instrument cluster out. Here's the back of the speedo. There's a single wire going on here. I have no idea what that's for. Then there's 2 wires going in here. Something's been spliced into this. That doesn't look factory. Definitely not factory. This green wire going off someplace else. It's been spliced into the vehicle speed sensor wire by the looks of it. There's some wires coming in here, but not sure exactly which wires are for the speedo. Somebody's definitely been in here before, because that's not factory, that Scotch lock. And this is not a factory wire, and I don't know where it goes. Anyways, we'll have to see if we can get a wiring diagram. Look at these bulbs, all individual sockets on the bulbs. I want to mix them up. I'll have to take note of that. Take note of the colors. Some of them have 1 wire on them, some of them have 2 wires. And there's a connector here. I'm not sure whether that's for the liquid crystal display for the odometer. No, there's a message center down at the bottom of the speedo head. There's a single wire going into the center here, and then 4 wires going into what appears to be the speedo cluster. Well, hopefully with a wiring diagram we can differentiate between which wires are the signal wires and power and so on.